Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we're going to do a champion guide today on a champion that doesn't really see enough love, even though she is extremely strong in the game. So on my tier list, for those that have not experienced this, I've got a tier list out there which I kind of go through each of the champions, rares, epics, legendaries. Do I think they need books? Have they got a guide? If they have, it's highlighted, and then I put kind of screenshots in there of the way I've built mine. I record their scores across all the different types of game. And on my Rearguard Sergeant, she comes in as a 5 for Clan Boss, and then she's kind of decent for some of the dungeons as well. She's certainly very good for Faction Wars, but her main role for me is for Clan Boss, and let me tell you why. So she has got a decreased defense on her A1. So, I mean, decreased defense, as soon as you get to Nightmare Clan Boss, decreased defense is the best way to increase your damage on the Clan Boss from hits. So, up until Nightmare, actually Weaken does a better job. But once you get to Nightmare, decreased defense will push more damage onto the Clan Boss than Weaken. So, it becomes a really strong debuff to have on the Clan Boss. Obviously, if you can get both, someone like Razin does both, then that's useful as well. But the reason why decreased defense is so strong is because it boosts the damage that your War Master and Giant Slayer procs will do. So she's got a decreased defense A1. If you book it out, it's a 50% chance to land. Lands for 2 turns. So really, with a counter-attack team, you should always have decreased defense up. And with a ally attack team, pretty much the same as well. So a second skill is an AoE ability, and it decreases attack on all enemies. This also heals this champion for the damage that she does. And all of her damage, if you look, is based on defense. And it's always nice to have defense-based champions because, one, the same stat that keeps them alive also does their damage. Yeah, so defense keeps her alive, but it also makes her damage spike up. And she can hit pretty hard. So pretty good first 2 abilities. This decreased attack, it's on a 3-turn cooldown if you book it out. It takes a lot of books here. I would suggest that if you land books in her A3 and get this debuff chance up on her A1 and you haven't done the rest of this, I would probably ignore it. Her decreased attack is like a fail-safe. So for Clan Boss this is, if your decreased attack champion happens to miss, then it's there as a kind of usable ability. I mean, you could speed tune her to actually always keep decreased attack up, but she'd have to be running pretty damn fast, so I wouldn't advise it. But it's on a 3-turn cooldown. It goes on for 2 turns, so it's not the worst kind of thing to speed tune in the world. She's then got, and this is why I think she's so strong, she's got an ally protection on a 3-turn cooldown when booked on her A3. She also throws out a heal. Now, this is a great ability, and it pairs really, really well with another champion that's got ally protection on a 3-turn cooldown. Because what you do is you alternate the different abilities. So Skull Crusher is a really good example. Skull Crusher does his ally protection when he throws out his counterattack. So that happens on wave 1. Then wave 2, she comes in and does the ability over the top of Skull Crusher. So Skull Crusher takes a pound in hit 1. Rearguard takes the pound in hit 2. Someone else takes the slam, hit 3. And you kind of roll the damage between your team, meaning you keep people alive for like tons longer. She's also got like force HP in all battles. It's kind of a bit nichey. It's okay. So I'm going to build her out to go into Nightmare Clan Boss in Lifesteal gear, and we will then try her in different areas as well. So I'm going to skip this, or maybe I'll show you some of the stuff. So I'm basically looking for as much defense as I can get on her. So defense with defense percentage, ideally. A defense amulet. You either go a defense amulet like this, or you go for a crit damage amulet if you're going to get your defense up pretty high. I think for this sake, I'd go for defense. Ideally, I'd go for defense with some accuracy on it as well, because we need her to land that decreased defense debuff. So I'll roll that one up in a second. I then would want an accuracy banner. Ideally, an accuracy banner with speed on it. Perfect. And then for her gear, I'd basically be wanting to push her defense up to the level of the rest of your team. So if we consider the rest of the team, we're going to be running like Frozen Banshee, who has got defense of 4.5k. It's pretty high. I was going to run Grave Chill. I'm not sure if I will. but 3.5. Yeah, Skull Crusher running at like 4.5. So 4.5 feels like the sort of level of defense that I want. Now, bear in mind, guys, I'm using strong gear, but the same rules apply. So if you've got gear that gets you to 3.3k defense, then that's your level. If you've got gear that gets you to 2.5k defense, I suggest look for more defensive stats, but that would be your level. So you want everyone to be at a pretty similar level to get to the right sort of place in Clan Boss. So I'm just going to re-gear this up, get her in lifesteal sets, get her defense up, get her crit up a bit, and get her accuracy over that 170, and then we'll try her out. Okay, so I've got her in lifesteal gear. I was actually able to put some defensive boots on her with some speed on, which meant that I went for crit rate gloves. This is an endgame build. If you were trying to go for a normal build, you'd probably go speed here and defense here. So, but because I had enough speed in the rest of my gear, I was able to push defense here and then crit rate here, which pushes my damage up further. I've speed tuned her for Nightmare Clan Boss, so she's actually running slower than Nightmare, but she'll sink in after the first hit. And I've pushed her crit up and her crit damage up, so she's going to do a bit of damage here. I've also done her masteries as offense and defense. This is my preference unless you're really struggling for accuracy. So this will do more damage over the course of a Clan Boss fight and keep you alive for longer if you do not need the accuracy. But accuracy is the first stat that you have to get. So if you need the accuracy, then you need to be doing bomb, bam, bazoomi. Yeah. So you've got to do the accuracy stuff until you can just get past accuracy with your gear or with your Great Hall. So my Great Hall brings me quite a bit of bonus to accuracy. So we've got a high defense, the right speed, the right level of accuracy. And then after that, once I've got my defensive stats, my speed and my accuracy sorted, I try and push damage. Yeah. I'm going to be running her alongside Skull Crusher in lifesteal gear, high defense, high crit damage. I'm going to be running her alongside Frozen Banshee, Grave Chill, and Coffin Smasher. So we've basically got all of the bases covered, maybe except a weaken. I could push a weaken in there, or I could actually remove Grave Chill because I've got a decreased defense now in Rearguard, and I could bring in somebody like somebody that's going to actually block debuffs. Someone like a Seducer would work. So someone that's going to stop me getting the slam against me. Let me just make sure his build is set up. Nearly. So he brings block debuffs for 2 turns. So actually, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown. So you need to speed tune him to make that work. But he could block the slam. I could also bring in someone like a Marked, who brings in the block debuffs for 1 turn, but she brings it at the right time. So she would bring it at, she does it on a 3-turn cooldown, so she would actually do it continuously before the Clan Boss goes. Maybe I'll do that. I'll get her ready, and then we can go in and do the fight. Okay, guys, let's jump into Nightmare Clan Boss then. So let's get rid of my main team. So we are going to be running with, let's see, Grave Chill, Frozen Banshee, Coffin Smasher, Skull Crusher. Where is he? Certainly the lady of the moment. Let's just find Skull Crusher as well. And then this is going to be the 5. So we've got decrease defense in my Grave Chill. We have got, this is probably the best setup, I think. Oh, we're going to run Marked, weren't we? We're going to run Marked. Yeah, okay. So we've got poison. We've got decreased defense and block debuffs. We've got 2 ally protects. We've got a decreased attack, and we've got a counter attacker. So this is Nightmare Clan Boss on Void Affinity. Let's see what we can do here. Now, the setup's pretty important. So you want obviously your Frozen Banshee to go beforehand. We want our HP burnout here. We want to get our counter attack up. And then Marked is slightly slower than our Skull Crusher on purpose, because she's going to eventually do block debuffs for the final move. But we're going to try and get decreased defense. Weak version here. Didn't get it. So obviously our Rearguard is slower than the rest of the team. She's not running to the same speed setup. So you want to get your decrease attack out. You want to get your ally protection out in the second phase. Second phase. So she's stealing ally protection off of Skull Crusher. That's the idea. She takes it off of Skull Crusher, and then between them, they kind of pivot the ally protection, which just keeps your team alive a ton longer. So again, we're just doing A1 here. And we'll just get the main attacks out. And then in the third phase, I would say do your decrease attack. You could do it in the first phase. Yeah, maybe I'll save it for the first phase, actually. So she's got the big version decrease defense going all day. So actually, Marked is really only in here for block stuns. So she'll get a block stun out here and increase defense up. And bam, no stuns are going to happen. And pretty much that is your setup. So you can then hit auto, fine. So I make sure I get decrease attack off in this phase so that she'll always do her ally protection in the second phase and take it off of Skull Crusher. So I'm going to hit auto here. We'll see what we do. I mean, this is just all about good team synergy. And double ally protection, if you're using a Skull Crusher setup, is really, really strong. So I'm going to let this run through, and then I'll bring it back up when we're towards the end of the fight. So we're coming in here, turn 29. This is the power of 2 ally protects in the same team. We are lasting way into the late stages of this fight. We're probably about to lose Marked. She is taking a bit of a paste in here. No, she's doing all right. So we've hit 2 key. We've hit 2 key Nightmare with this setup. And, I mean, yeah, the guys are in good gear. Don't get me wrong. The guys are in good gear, so they should be probably 2 keying. But they're in good gear, but we've still only got 3 rares and only one of those rares, like top tier rares. And we've got 2 epics. So to hit Nightmare 2 key with any team like that is going to be cool. You see the sync is still perfect. So we're still getting full debuff bars up all the time. And we're still sharing out that damage between the team. So all in all, very nice setup. I mean, to do anything over 20 mil, you're going to be happy with that. So she is a bit of an unsung hero for Clan Boss. She really is. She comes in, she does work. And this is, for me, it's easily her best spot. So she's going to do some work for you in Faction Wars. She's going to do some work for you in other dungeons. We'll come on to some dungeons in a second. But this, for me, is her best spot. She's just enabling us to go further and further into the fight, which, you know, if you're thinking about, well, who's an upgrade on her, really you start to get into legendaries. You start to get into people like Tyrant, does the job really, really well. Any of the other legendaries, really, that have got ally protection. But not all of them have got it on a 3-turn cooldown. And that's where she comes up really strong. So it looks like we're going to do something close to 25 mil. Skull Crusher still taking the pain. We lost him now. So we're going to do just about 25 mil yet. Which, you know, for a Nightmare hit is always going to be cool. It's always a nice number. You're well over that 2 key sort of threshold. And in fact, we're well over it. It's in the realms of really strong numbers now. Probably gone on a bit more than I thought it would. There you go, 26 mil, very nice. So easy Nightmare hit, 26 mil. And if you look here at the numbers, Rearguard 4.5 mil, Coffin Smasher 4.5, 3.5, 1.9, 11.5. Rearguard stands up and does damage. She's not afraid to go in there with a slap. So, you know, she can do some good hits for you. So let's just check her out then. She's not an arena champ. She'll do work for you in Faction Wars as well. She's not a campaign farmer, but she can do some work in the different dungeons. So let's just throw her into a couple of dungeons. It's always tricky to kind of decide what team I'm going to run for these type of things. But let's take out my main team. So she's going to go in basically as your protection, as your support. You want to get your decreased defense in there. So perhaps we'll run for this one a Tyrell for a decreased defense. You want to get your poison damage going. So that'll be people like your Frozen Banshee. Maybe your Grave Chill, and then really you just want some kind of speed and wave control. So if we had a high Katoon in there for speed, perhaps I'll do it like this. She's the wrong affinity, but I think she can do the job anyway. And then maybe somebody for a bit of protection. I need a bit of AoE damage, actually, to get through the waves. So let me just work that through. Okay, we're going to try this then. So I've actually changed out Tayrail. I thought Spider might be fun to show as well. Poison, bit of AoE damage and support. We've got decrease attack. That's her main move here. That's what she's coming in for. And ally protection. So let's give it a go. So she's positive affinity here. So Spider, which is cool. So yeah, there goes the decrease attack, AoE. There goes ally protection. So sorry, decrease attack came from Spider. There goes some protection. And then see that. So she's slapping there for 35k per hit on her AoE. That is not weak, guys. That's a decent level of AoE damage. So she can really help you get through waves as well. A1, 12k, not bad. But yeah, it's that A2. I think that's her A2. The decrease attack move. There it is again, 35k across the board. So, you know, for wave control and damage, she's actually not bad, considering she's also bringing other utility as well. So I guess there's not much else to show here. Once she gets to the actual dragon, she's going to do your decrease attack, which means you're going to take less hits. She's going to do the ally protection, which means a lot of that damage will be shared into her, so your damage dealers can stay alive easier. And she'll do a reasonable amount of damage. She's not going to do crazy damage. She'll do a reasonable amount. But, you know, for pretty much any dungeon, she's going to be solid. But her best dungeon, so I'm going to skip through this. Her best dungeon for me is actually Spider. Now, Spider, he wasn't even geared. Spider, you do need a tank. So she can do a role of a tank. But you also could do with somebody that has ally protection. So some people say to me, what if you don't have miscreated monster? Like, how do you deal with the Spider if there's no miscreated monster in your lineup? So in terms of where do I think she works on Spider, I think she works best with another force affinity tank. So she doesn't become the tank, she protects the tank. And then you've got a couple of people controlling turn meter, somebody doing HP burn. Feels like the best sort of setup. There's a little bit of a watch out for her protecting a tank, because if her health drops too low while she's got ally protection up, then you could get in trouble. So on auto, this will work. On manual, I would choose to try and get her drop defense out here instead of her doing her ally protection, but it's kind of fine. But you see the burns are doing all the damage here. So HP burn is where we're getting the damage from our Ignatius in this situation, but it could be from any champ. And then pretty much we've got a share of damage between Ignatius when he gets a bit of a provoke out, Kantra as the sort of the affinity tank, and our Rearguard as somebody who's doing ally protection and kind of helping them all out. So you see she's got decreased defense off now, so that should just help us finish this off quicker. And all you're doing here is you're cycling back round to your abilities again. So we're just waiting to get that sort of second phase of abilities through. We do need Kantra to pick herself up a little bit here. Come on, Kantra. Don't let me down. Don't let me down, Kantra. There's the ally protection though, so that's going to help us a bit anyway. She gets a heal from Rearguard, which is pretty clutch. She's healing obviously as debuffs drop off. HP burn comes out again. And as long as we can keep turn meter under control, there we go. Ally protection just helps the team. See, she would have been dead 3 times over if ally protection wasn't out there. So Rearguard can be really, really effective in Spider. Easily her second best spot other than Clan Boss for me. So really good champ. This was for Claydon. Claydon redeemed this champion guide as part of my Twitch channel. So thanks for that, Claydon. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the guide. I'm Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.